What's going on, everyone? This is the last call presented by fakepigskin.com. My name is Charles, and this is a podcast dedicated to large field GPPs on DraftKings like the Millie Maker. With me right now, I have Dustin Hogue and Justin Edwards. You can find these fine gentlemen on Twitter. Dustin's at Dookie Hogue. That's Dookie. Yeah, I said that right. All right, Dookie Hogue. And Justin, you can find at Justin_Redwards. His first name _Redwards. What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, man?
What's up?
I'm doing well. So just a quick recap on last week. We seem to have a lot of hitters, especially with that Jarwin call. That was definitely nice.
That was the one.
Nice. Yeah, he
was the
scored. He had a flame by his name.
That's what we're looking for, flames.
Dude, I
Flames
couldn't
and
believe
flames.
it. Like, the very first touchdown that he caught, I was just like, what? Just like, was it the first touchdown in the game or the second? But it was really early on. I was just, like, through the roof. Like, all right, I was printing his money, and then just ended up like, all right, I just, like, barely doubled my money for the weekend. Just didn't have the good combination of players on the right lineups, and kind of frustrating, but all in all, it's still a winning week, so can't really complain there.
True.
All right, so week 2, we have 13 games on this slate, so we got one more than last week because there's only one Monday night game. So let's jump into it. We have Arizona at Baltimore. Baltimore's a 13-point favorite with the over-under of 46.5. All right, Justin, how are you feeling about Lamar Jackson?
Oh, I'm digging him. Maybe a day late, buck short, but either way, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
He's got legs. He ran for 6 yards, which is 70 yards under his average last year. So that's a whole ceiling we haven't even seen yet. Go ahead.
That's
Sorry.
true. 3 attempts. Yeah, so, I mean, the big thing with this one, from what I remember last week, is that I guess we just thought they're just going to run the ball a lot. They're just going to be up so high that, I guess we overlooked Lamar Jackson. Some of the wide receivers like Marquise Brown went off.
Yeah, he barely played too.
Yeah, which is the crazy part. Hollywood had 147 yards. He was in on 8 pass snaps. That's ridiculous. That's some ridiculous efficiency.
Only 8 snaps. Wow. Yeah. Looking at his stats from last game, he caught 4 balls on 5 targets. So the fact that he was in for 8 snaps and he was targeted 5 of those 8 definitely says something right there.
For sure.
His price is at 5,000 this week. That's kind of interesting. How do you feel about just taking the stack, or just in the GPPs just take a lone Lamar Jackson and just ride it out?
I think this is a good game stack. It's got a little bit of a lower over under. So hopefully it'll be overlooked a little bit. But so we've got the Baltimore side. We know that Arizona is struggling at cornerbacks. Their top 2 cornerbacks are still out, and that's why we were on the Lions last week.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of the ball, Arizona, as expected, ran the fastest pace in the NFL. They ran the most no huddle at 41%, which is just unheard of. Second place was 28%. So they're way outpacing the field and their speed of play. I think this is a pretty good bet to get over the. You say it went up to 46.5?
Yeah, it's at 46.5 right now.
I think we could hop over that and maybe leave some of the field in the dust as they're looking at different or higher over-unders that might not get there.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I didn't catch a lot of this game, but I was keeping up with it. And, it seemed like Arizona didn't get anything going until, like, it was, like, garbage time. Then all of a sudden, they tied the game up. Just, like, it sort of seemed like it was out of nowhere. I definitely don't like Christian Kirk on Arizona. I really don't like any of the Arizona target or wide receivers, even though Larry Fitzgerald had a great night.
Well,
Yeah.
Let's finish talking about Baltimore first.
Okay.
Peace.
Uh, let's see here. So Mark Ingram, priced at 6,000. Last week he was what? Only 5,000 or something like that. 5,100. He was priced last week. So a small increase from what I see. I mean, I guess that's getting closer to like tier 3, tier 2 running back. An interesting thing though, Arizona has a really good run defense. I think. Like Kerryon Johnson didn't really do well against them last week. It didn't seem like Detroit was able to get a good run game going. They were able to air the ball out because, like Justin said, they had no secondary threats to worry about. Who are you liking on Baltimore this week?
I'm kind of liking the whole offense. Justin had said that the top two corners are out, but I did a little bit of research, and it looks like the Cardinals gave up the most rush attempts, most rush yards, and most rush TD rushing yards per game last year. But I think they'll be able to pass the ball and run the ball. So I like the whole team. I've got a little snippet here from Mark Andrews, who was his go-to guy, Lamar Jackson's go-to. His matchup per PFF is top 10. And last week, TJ Hawkinson, the first-round rookie, went off for 6 for 131 and a touchdown. So I think with the air raid offense, it speeds the game up, which means more offense for both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
I think there's some good scoring opportunities for both these running backs. Mark Ingram led the league and carries inside the 10-yard line last week. He got 5 of them. I think the next closest was 3. And then we got David Johnson on the other side. They're going to be playing from behind the whole time. He's a dude we kind of had to write off by the end of last year. Last week alone, he saw 43 air yards. That's more than all of 2018, which is just incredible to think about. They're actually using him in the slot. They're sending him out on routes and not just screen passes like he was being abused with last year. I think both starting running backs in this game. And if you want to get cute, you could throw Justice Hill in there for, what is it, 3,000?
Yeah, 3,300. That seems a little too cute. Like, with how bad Baltimore was beating up on the Dolphins last week, like, Justin Hill did not seem productive at all. He 7 attempts for 27 yards. Like, I would rather just stick with David Johnson and Mark Ingram with this one. Like, even Dustin Johnson's putting up tight end numbers, like 7 targets, 6 catches, 55 yards and a touchdown with a long of 27, and then 18 rushes for 82 yards. I mean, yeah, I definitely like possibly just stacking this game now, thinking about it. Like, you get a Lamar Jackson at 6,700, even Kyler Murray. Yeah, now thinking about it, I sort of like just stacking a bunch of these games and just seeing what happens. I think Arizona might be able to cover the 13-point spread, but who knows? Maybe Baltimore's defense is that legit. I mean, that's what that spread's got to be about, right?
Yeah, it's a giant spread. They might be able to cover for sure. The Cardinals are not going to lay down and die like the Dolphins did, though.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else about this game before we move on?
Nope. Do we have any interest in Crabtree coming back?
No.
No. Okay. Because I kind of like Keyshawn Johnson. He had a lot of targets.
I do like Keyshawn Johnson, actually. I don't want to mess with Crabtree, but I'll take a stab at Keyshawn Johnson. He's been on 68 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
That's how often they play 4 wide. He's their 4th wide receiver, but he played 68 snaps. He got 10 targets.
He had 20% of the market share of air yards.
Nice.
And 10 targets.
That's 10 targets, 5 receptions.
To pay attention to.
Yeah, that's worth a stab for, 3,000 or something like that? That's nothing.
We'll keep an eye on him.
That also could be matchup because, like, just one last thing about the spread. Like a 13-point spread against a team that tied last week and came from behind and was able to put the pressure on and just put the pedal to the metal when they needed to. That 13-point spread just screams to me like the Baltimore's defense is probably super legit. So that Johnson play might be super sketchy, at least in my eyes, just because that spread is so steep.
I'm not really interested in DJ, but I'll probably have a teeny bit of him just because he's so heavily used.
Yeah,
but we can go to the next.
And he's only at 7,100. That makes him the sixth expensive running back. So I mean, you're getting like, Melvin Gordon, Dalvin Cook numbers at somewhat of a discount, and he can hit Barkley and Elliott numbers at a discount too, at that price. So that could be a thing. I definitely like stacking the game though, but that spread, re-looking at that spread, sort of scares me. All right, so we're going to move on to San Francisco at Cincinnati. I have no idea what's going on with this game. Cincinnati's a 2-point favorite with an over-under at 45. Dustin, tell me why Cincinnati is a favorite.
I have no idea. They're playing at home. I guess they give them a 3-point advantage at home. I don't have
in the jungle.
Yeah, they're in the jungle, baby.
I mean, it just seems like across the board, like except for wide receiver, I'll give Tyler Boyd is probably a lot better than Pettis and Goodwin, but besides that, Andy Dalton's Andy Dalton. Jimmy G is probably, I rank him about the same right now. So it's just like, they have Kittle, their running backs. Joe Mixon is probably that much better than Breida and Coleman, but I don't understand how they're a 2-point favorite. Is it the defense? Like, someone please help me.
So at least on the fantasy tip, Mixon is still day to day as of this afternoon's practice, so he may be out, which would put Gio Bernard in a sort of workhorse type role, but he's 5,300, and it's not enough of a discount for the talent discount we're taking from Mixon. Mixon is 6,500, Bernard is 5,300, so it's really not. I hope he's strong because I want to be under-owned there. I like Gio just fine, but not for this much.
Yeah, like it feels like 4,500. Just like, all right, you're just going to lock in Gio as like GPP flyer
for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm not big on a lot of the Bengals plays. I'll play Boyd. John Ross showed out incredibly. If he didn't lead the league in air yards, he's top 3 last week. See, he went off for 158 yards. He also had about 3 ridiculous drops where he ran a curl route and he was about face to Dalton staring at him and the ball hit him in the friggin' chest. Oh. That happened multiple occasions. But he still came out with 7 catches and 2 touchdowns. So I don't know. If they're going to be playing him, and Zach Taylor really, really looked interesting with this offense. I'm an Ohio native. I've been a Bengals fan my whole life. I haven't seen anything this interesting on the field for at least a decade. And that's why they are overhyped and that's why they're favored right now. I don't know that they have the talent to support it, but they do look interesting going forward. They're more interesting now than they were 2 weeks ago before the season started.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe I'm just not giving enough credit to the Bengals defense here. But, they're not that good. Holding Seattle to 21 points seems about right because, their running back sort of went off on them. What did they allowed? Oh, no. Only 72 rushing yards. Okay. 161 passing yards? What? Man, they really...
It was a sloppy game. Cincinnati's got a solid front, and they have a pretty solid secondary. Their linebackers are where you can kill them, and the Seahawks have Will Dissly to throw at them. But San Francisco has George Kittle.
Yeah.
So this is a way different matchup. This is not Will Dissly. This is possibly the best tight end in the league.
And now think about it. like it seems like Seattle's been struggling with their offensive line for like the last couple of years. Like they don't have the right combination of guys or players in the right position. So Russell Wilson's always on the run, and last year we saw Baldwin or Lockett make incredible catches. I remember it was a primetime game. They were making some ridiculous catches that like no one else could make, except for like top 1% of receivers. So
yeah. They do have a pretty good matchup here because Cincinnati's interior defensive line is very positive. San Francisco's interior offensive line is not that great. Their tackles are amazing. Their interior is not amazing.
So, I mean, are we looking just to completely fade this game? Because, like, no one really seems all that great. How do you feel, Dustin?
I don't have like any strong feeling about this game. I think you pepper in some Ross just because he had that huge blow up game to see if it's legit. On PFF, it's got Richard Sherman, who had I don't know if this is from just this season or what, but they have him graded at 48.5, which is really, really bad.
Yeah.
Did he get roasted last week? I don't know.
No, man, I don't know. Maybe he performed pretty ugly. He got a pick six. That was cute. I liked that.
Oh, no. I noticed the same thing
played the
last week.
49ers defense last week.
Yeah, when he was on Mike Evans was like a clear, like, in the green favorite over Richard Sherman. I'm just like, that can't be right. It's like...
But yeah, to kind of wrap up my thoughts, Breida here because Tevin Coleman is out, and then Kittle. I'll pay up for Kittle in this matchup, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna have.
This is like the 5% that you're just playing. Like you're just like, all right, Kittle gets 5% because he's Kittle. Breida gets the like 5-ish% because he's pretty much the lone back. Like he might be rotating, but I really doubt it. Okay, yeah, that game was not really that appeasing.
I am going to play a little bit of Pettis though, just because he's a really talented dude. But
I would have to be late to that party. I'm going to have to be late to the Pettis party. Like after last week, it's just like, like what can you do?
Yeah.
So next game on the slate, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at Detroit. Chargers are 3-point favorites with the over/under at 48. It's a pretty high over/under. Seems to be a lot of goodness on this one. Justin, how are you liking Eckler after his all-star performance last week?
I'm still on him. I know that he's going to have even higher ownership percentage. I'm just fine with that. We've had some injury news come out of Los Angeles this week that is pointing directly towards Eckler. Hunter Henry is out for a month or longer. Mm-hmm. Mike Williams is out. They didn't even call him day to day. They called him week to week. I guess he has a possibility of playing, but week to week sounds pretty negative.
Yeah.
Between 2017 and 2018 being when Hunter Henry was out, the running back target share rose by 5% for the Chargers. So they're going to be peppering him with targets. I want Eckler, and I guess you have to have Keenan because I'm not taking Travis Benjamin. So that's my thoughts on the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I feel. Like, you put Phillip Rivers up there. He put up 27.9 points last week. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Over 300 yards, so you get the bonus points there, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely see just jamming some lineups with Rivers, Eckler, and Allen, and then you have what? Let me plug that in real quick. You still have 30,000 to disperse, and Eckler's further down on the all-time running backs price list right now. He looks like he's 12th on here at least. Yeah. 6,100. Yeah, I think Eckler is almost going to be super, he's got to be super chalky this week. Do you guys agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
At 6,100, I mean, He's 400 cheaper than Joe Mixon. He's
Roto Grinders has him at 2,400 or 24%.
24%. Yeah, like he's 1,000
Yeah.
less than David Johnson, and he can easily put up David Johnson numbers. Okay. What about Detroit's side of the ball? Are we liking anything over here? Like it was definitely an upset with Kerryon Johnson. C.J. Anderson didn't really do anything.
I'll take Hawkinson again and just walk away.
Hawkinson, okay.
A little bit of Galladay for me.
What a
Come.
Hawkinson, 9 targets with 6 catches, 131 yards. Wow. Okay. So yeah, they're definitely giving him the ball. Yeah, that definitely seems like the safe spot. I guess he just immediately took over the Ebron spot.
This is from Lord Reeves, Rich Rebar on Twitter. He says TJ Hawkinson's 25.1 PPR points were the third most scored by a tight end in his first career game, and the most since Jim Mitchell in 1969.
Wow.
So this is one of the best debuts for a tight end we've ever seen in the history of the NFL.
Okay.
So
And
we're not fading him.
He's still only 3,000. So I'm good on not fading him. I didn't fade him last week. I wish I had more, clearly.
And he's
But-
only priced at 3,000 too. That's
ridiculous.
That pricing seems like we can take advantage of that.
He's priced $300 more than Virgil Green.
Yikes. And then what about Stafford? Like he lit it up against Arizona. I mean, do we think the Chargers are that good of a defense? Or
I'm kind of fine. I'm good on just fading Stafford here. I think this over-under is they're back to grinding the clock if they can. They couldn't last week because the Cardinals were the fastest-paced team in the league. It's a little too much.
okay. Yeah, I can see that. Just fading Stafford. That price point though at 5,200 definitely looks very appealing for
True.
someone that put up 31 points last week. That's definitely nothing to shake a stick at. But do we see anything else here? Possibly defense, like some interceptions thrown by Stafford with the Chargers or Rivers?
I don't think so.
I mean, you do upgrade from. Let me see real quick. You do slightly get a better secondary with the Lions than you do with the Colts.
If I were going to take one or the other, I would go with the Lions just because the Chargers have a weaker offensive line, aiming for them.
So you're hoping to get like 3 to 5 sacks and maybe a pick. I mean,
but again, I just think the over/under is too
high.
I think the over/under is too high.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to be like a passing situation.
Yeah, and after saying that, talking about the secondary, I'm definitely liking Hawkinson a lot more now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we got Eckler, Allen, and Hawkinson for this game. It seems like
I like some Rivers too, just a little bit.
just a little bit. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're definitely playing Eckler, he was 7 catches on 8 targets, and if you're playing Keenan Allen, playing some Phillip Rivers definitely makes sense because that's where Eckler and Allen are getting all their points from. All right.
I'm playing Rivers. I have to put Keenan and probably Eckler in too because it's not going anywhere else.
Yeah, and Phillip
Or
Rivers
you
being
have
at
to,
6,100, he's around the 10th most expensive quarterback. So, I mean, you definitely get a lot of value there, I feel like, on that price
He's
tag.
third in DVOA rank too. Rivers is behind Breeze and Mahomes, so that's kind of interesting. Football Outsiders.
Yeah, so if you just look at DVOA
Yeah.
ranking, you get a lot of value at that price point then. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. We got Minnesota at Green Bay. Minnesota finally gets to play a game in the elements. I don't know why they didn't open the dome last week to the rain. So And I'm glad DraftKings is up to date now.
It's not a dome.
No, well, they're playing at Green Bay, but like the Detroit game, it says it's at a dome now instead of just it's raining in
Okay.
Detroit. Okay.
Uh,
So Green Bay's a 3-point favorite against Minnesota, and the over/under's at 44. My big takeaway from last week: how legit is Green Bay's defense, and can they stop all of the threats that Minnesota have? Dustin, what do you think?
I think Dalvin Cook and this offensive line is going to give him fit. He's really the only play that I'm looking at on this game, honestly. I think it's going to be a slow-paced game, and I'm not sure what Green Bay is going to do. I don't know.
yeah, I'm not super enticed by this game either. There's a few that I just feel fine just like taking apart in.
Yeah,
Isn't easy. I think Aaron Jones, he burnt people. I'm always looking for players who just burnt players, just took a big dump on us.
yeah, I can definitely see
Um,
that. Aaron Jones, even though they are playing against Minnesota, um, he definitely has a skill there. Um, Atlanta just couldn't get anything going because maybe that defensive line was a thing. But I mean, like, it's a different story when you have Aaron Rodgers in the backfield than Matt Ryan. Like you have to line up your defense different. It's like I had a discussion: is Ed McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey? Is he? Will he be that great if Cam Newton wasn't there? Like if it was just like an Eli Manning or something like that? Because he's not the same type of back that Barkley is. Like I don't know how well Christian McCaffrey runs up the middle, so maybe that's
but he
another
does fine.
narrative or dynamic that you could think of where like you have Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, so Aaron Jones can maybe take advantage of they can't load 9 against like in the box or something like that and just double cover Devontae Adams because Aaron Rodgers can put the ball wherever he wants to. Is that a thing or a narrative, or am I just making stuff up?
I mean, I think this is going to be a lower either way.
Yeah, and the over under being at 44 with the Packers favorite, that tells me that the bookmakers definitely believe in the Green Bay's defense after they, held the Bears to only 3 points. But I don't think that's anything really that impressive. Like the Bears haven't really
Dustin,
been a great offense. They lost Jordan Howard from last year. Like, Green Bay's always been an okay defense, but like, are they going to be that good where they could shut down Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Diggs, even Rudolph? Like, are they able to do all that?
Dustin, do you see ownership on Aaron Jones?
Yes. 3%.
3% at 5,400. Definitely seems somewhere you want to be at.
I don't know. I like that a lot. I'll be gladly
His,
5 to 10%.
his DVO rank is 7th for this week.
Okay.
I like Aaron Jones here. I not even necessarily for any reason other than 3% owned.
Yeah, and
He's a better player than that to be that cheap.
yeah, 5,400 is definitely almost a sign of disrespect. But like you said it perfectly. He burnt everyone last week, and you can definitely find some value in players that burn DFS players for sure. Are we looking at playing either quarterback? They really didn't have great games last week, but
Cousins attempted 10 balls. That's ridiculous.
yeah,
Like 1963. No, I guess Diggs might be cleared. He only played 60% of the snaps. I don't even know what he get. He got like 1 or 2 targets.
that's amazing. I
Yeah,
didn't even realize that. I didn't realize he only threw the ball 10 times.
It was silly.
Was the
I
pressure
think
just that much on him? Like,
That's all they want to do is run the ball. Seconds per snap last week.
yeah.
Just per snap.
I mean, why not? You put it in the hands of your best player.
It was like
Because
36 seconds a snap. That's almost the entire play clock every single time. That's the team we're about to talk about next, too.
yeah, yeah. So everything else I really don't like. Maybe Green Bay's defense, if you sort of believe in their defense, at 3,100 seems like could be a good play, especially if they're only throwing the ball so many times. Kirk Cousins had 2 fumbles last week. Green Bay's, if you, there's a lot of people that believe in Green Bay's defense is super legit this year, like Ravens, Broncos, Super Bowl championship legit. So, well, I can't see it until they shut out a good team. But I mean, if someone thinks they're about to do it with one of the lower, the second, third lowest over under this week. So, all right. So we're going to move on to the next game, which is Jacksonville at Houston. Houston's a 9-point favorite with an over/under of 43.5. This is the tied for second lowest over/under of the week. Big news here: Nick Foles is out. It ended up being a broken clavicle. So,
yeah, he's done for the year, right?
jeez, that's heartbreaking right there. And we're all over D.D. Westbrook, which he did okay. Yeah, so Dustin, where are you looking to attack in this game?
Hopkins is my number one target. You just saw what Sammy Watkins did to the Jags last week, and I want a piece of that. Probably have some Will Fuller, a little bit of Duke Johnson, and definitely some Deshaun Watson. He's only projected to be 6% owned. Any week that you can get Watson under 10% or close to 5%, that's a really good look.
Had that 3,600.
I mean,
Yeah,
3 yards per carry, Carlos Hyde.
he's going to be 0.5% owned. So if you want to bump it up to 1%, go for it.
0.5.
Yeah, he's 0.5% projected ownership.
Like, well, clearly, but I think I like Will Fuller more than Hopkins.
Really?
Might get a little bracket coverage over there. Might be able to just
I mean,
targets and three catches for 80.
Ramsey got smoked last week.
and
Well,
it's so hard to pass up on Hopkins. Like when you have anyone opposite to Hopkins, like it almost seems like it's like, what are you doing? Like Will Fuller can have those games, and he has had those games, but how often is he going to have those games? Like,
Kuti is,
Is he playing?
yeah, we can mess with him.
Oh yeah, I like him too.
Full practice today, so
3,800.
mm-hmm.
yeah, I might
So
have Fuller now.
okay, so we have the obvious chalky guys on Houston side of the ball, at least. What about this guy right here? I've never seen this name before. DJ Chark Jr.
Oh yeah.
Mr. 146 yards off of 4 catches.
And
really,
obligatory term. But I think that's chasing a little bit. He's never done it before. He was a rookie last year, and maybe this is the start of something. It's only been 1 week, but to chase that one.
that might be something to look into, because the thing is, because he was a rookie, and he might not be on the starting because he only has 4 targets, but he caught all 4 of them, which is kind of impressive. He might have a lot of reps with. Sorry, I don't know the backup's name. Minshew. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Okay. So he might have just
Yeah,
been on the practice squad,
fast.
not the practice squad, but the second team squad, just getting a lot of reps. And Minshew
Ooh, I like
knows
that.
if he's open, he's going to catch the ball. Type of deal.
Backup to backup.
You can't argue with that.
So I mean, that might be a thing.
I'll bet
If we take away his long 69-yard catch, his other 3 catches, he's averaging 25.6 yards a catch. So I mean, that is something. His price tag is kind of pricey for a dart at 4,500. I sort of want to pay like under 4,000 for, especially like you said, Justin. It's sort of like an unknown-ish thing. It might be a thing where you sort of want to get ahead of it, but it could also be a nice fade because he has such a good weekend last week. Reality instead of projection for people playing him, his ownership, he might actually be slightly over projection this week just because he had such a good game last week.
His ownership, it looks like he's 1%.
Yeah, I think reality it might be a little bit higher just because, like when you pull up the DraftKings things, it says 27 points at 4,500. So I think
Right.
the random casuals and like the Millie Maker and stuff like that are only playing 1 and 2. They might randomly try to fit him in there just as like a salary cap reliever type deal.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, I honestly don't see him over 5%. But that might be a thing. Is there anything else that we like about this game? Really, I don't like the defense in this game.
Fournette will be good chalk. He's catching passes. I think he's good chalk every week until he gets to.
Yeah, Fournette at 6,300 definitely seems like a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Maybe
you're cutting
playing-
in and out, Justin, but it definitely sounds like you are. Now thinking about it, I might randomly play Texans defense, but Minshew seemed like he sort of has a good head on his shoulders where he's not looking to sling the ball. He's going to make smart decisions. He might look at this opportunity as a starting quarterback moving on because Foles is, 33, 34. Texans D might be a pick. Who knows?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Nothing besides the chalky plays or obvious plays I see here for the most part. All right.
QT.
So now we're going to move on to the next game, which is the biggest line of the year so far. We got New England at Miami. New England's a 19.5-point favorite with an over-under of 48. This kind of scary thing about this line from Monday when I first made the lines, the line only went up 0.5, but the over-under shot up to like 3 points. So, do we think Tom Brady's just going to murder the Dolphins from what they did to him last year? Or Belichick is just going to like put the hammer down, sort of like the Baltimore did? What do you think, Justin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, buddy.
they scored as many points as they feel like scoring. Like on the New England side, I don't know what to do with these wide receivers at 5,800 before I take. I assume Brown's not playing, right?
I mean, he's up here as I don't see a letter by his name. He's participating in practice.
He's playing.
Yeah. When's this
Over
updated?
Brown.
Yeah, it was updated earlier today. So 1 p.m. today. So
Well, damn. Well, then
yeah, the verdict.
if he's playing, it definitely takes me back off of my just jamming Michelle in and not thinking about it. But at this point, pull back on Sony a little bit with all of the pass catching options.
Okay, I can definitely see that. Maybe some Burkhead in there because he seems to be the main runner of the running back committee there. How about just a naked Tom Brady in your lineups? Like 6,400 for a Tom Brady that's slinging the ball put up 28 fantasy points last week.
Compare him where I can, but I can see a naked play.
Because, like,
Tom Brady.
yeah, you feel fine taking, like, Edelman, Josh Gordon randomly. Demaryius Thomas got traded. Dorsett had a blow-up game. So, I mean, and he's only at 3,000. Oh, man.
Yeah, he's probably not going to get a lot of playing time though.
If Antonio Brown does not play, I think Dorsett might be a good pick. Even though he only had 4 targets for 2 touchdowns, though. Man, that's got to say something. That has to say something. Like, he's always managed to get open in red zone. Something crazy like that.
I think Josh Gordon's going to have like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be the Josh Gordon breakout game since, like, do you remember when he was a rookie? He was with
Yeah.
Brown. He was getting like 200 yards and 2 touchdowns like for like 5 weeks in a row. He hasn't really had a game like that in a while, and this is like a prime matchup for him.
Gordon has that game, and I'm not playing him. I'll never play fantasy again. I'll play in all of these matchups.
Yeah, I think he's my favorite wide receiver just because he has the rapport with Brady, and they're going to be able to do what they want.
So
his price went down 100.
yeah, that's amazing. That the skill that you're getting there, and his price is still going down. Now, granted, it's because
5,800. Come on.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
I mean, you have Edelman there. He's almost a guarantee. His price went up 400, but then you have Antonio Brown there, like probably one of the best wide receivers in the game right now. But with all this stuff going on, I think Dorsett might be a randomly good flyer, but then also just playing Josh Gordon and Edelman Josh Gordon at this discounted price, like it just seems like a good place to be. Like if you're going to play 10% of wide receivers of that on Patriots on your lineups, like 7% Josh Gordon, 3% Edelman,
Yeah.
less than 1% of Dorsett maybe. Because
Sneaking suspicion Antonio is not playing. Then
Yeah.
I'll eat my words and I'll change my. I really don't think he's going to play.
yeah, that's definitely the consensus out there that he's not going to be playing. I think on a quick reference to year-long fantasy, he's got the O next to his name. A lot of people have already dropped him, so I really doubt that he's going to play as well. But I mean, it's kind of weird that they don't even have a D or a Q next to his name. That's kind
Yeah.
of fishy.
Let's play.
Don't
Who
really
we
like
like?
any of the tight ends.
All right, so Ryan Fitzpatrick had by far the highest intended air yards according to Next Gen Stats, with 14.9 yards per pass, 11.9 yards per attempt. Practice today and is questionable to play Sunday. Who gobbled up 73 air yards in week 1? $.
Who's that, Wilson? You broke up.
Yeah,
William.
you're breaking up.
Is at 3,400.
Who is that?
Williams. It's got to be Williams.
Preston Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that is a good play. Yeah.
Yards last week behind, and now Albert Wilson's probably missing the game.
Yeah, that's sharp.
Yeah. I mean,
The
they're
only
definitely
goal.
going to be behind. They're definitely going to be trying to air the ball out. I mean, you know what you're getting with Fitzpatrick, so that definitely seems like the only person that I will ever want to play on the Dolphins right now that looks appealing at all.
I got
What about the Patriots defense? I mean, is that going to be really that much in play?
you may as well. Their Dolphins' offensive line is terrible.
They are, but surprisingly, Fitzpatrick didn't throw any interception. No, he threw one. Okay. Their fumbles and interceptions are separate for some reason. But no fumbles, one interception, one touchdown. Yeah. They just might just get a bunch of sacks. Does it say how many sacks he had? No. I guess that's not really a stat you keep with quarterbacks. Okay. Yeah, definitely in play. The fourth highest defense on the board right now. Third highest at 3,700. But it definitely could be a thing. All right. That's pretty much it with this game. I definitely agree with the Josh Gordon take. I sort of like Dorsett at 3,000, especially if Antonio Brown doesn't play. He's the third wide receiver on that field. They're not throwing to tight ends anymore. They just don't have that big body grunk anymore. All right. Let's just go ahead and move on to the next game. We got Buffalo Bills at New York Giants. Buffalo Bills a 1.5 point favorite with the over-under of 43.5. This is the second lowest over-under for the game. Dustin, what are we looking at here? Like, who can we trust?
I think the only guy that I'm seeing that I would really like to play from this game is John Brown.
Yep.
Right. We were definitely on him last week, and it definitely paid off when I played him. I think I cashed every single lineup I had John Brown in last week.
Mm-hmm. He's lined up against DeAndre Baker, who's ranked 29 out of 100 on PF. He's got, let's see, I don't have a whole lot of stuff pulled up on him.
He had 10 targets, 7 receptions.
He's got a 21% advantage over here on the wide receiver cornerback matchup on Pro Football Focus. I mean, he's just made a space in that offense for himself, just a deep threat, and he was even getting red zone targets. He's just a really reliable target for Josh Allen, and it's another good matchup, so I like him again.
Way too cheap still.
Mm-hmm.
His price went up $900, and you're still saying he's way too cheap. Is that just because he's just the only skillful wide receiver there?
Yeah, for sure. Just like the odds of him finishing, what is he at prices like the 27th? He's going to finish
Around
in
there.
the top, or than what he's priced. So
Okay.
Yeah.
give him to me until they price him at 6,500, and then I'll back off.
That's fair. That's actually a pretty good price point where I'm just like, I sort of know what I'm getting with you. But even then, like, are you going to take Tyler Boyd at 6,500 or are you going to take John Brown at 6,500?
At that point, you're looking at an alpha.
Okay.
To
Yeah.
this game, I'm not excited about. If Sterling Shepard is out, bullet with Evan Ingram.
You seem to be cutting out again. Wow.
Right.
Ingram had 11 catches on 14 targets. That's pretty impressive. I didn't realize it was that many. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so Ingram, what about Barkley? Are we liking him at all? Just because he's going to be like him and Ingram are going to be the focal points of that offense where it's going to be most of the points and yards through those two guys? Dustin,
What'd you say?
how do you feel about that? You got Barkley, you have Ingram. Do you want to roster these guys because you know what skills you're getting and it's going to be probably like 80% of the yards? That's probably too much, but it could be realistic. Of the Giants' offense is going to funnel through those two guys.
Yeah, but without Sterling Shepard, I mean, they're really going to be focused in on Barkley. Well, I guess Ingram will be out there too, but and I kind of feel like it's kind of a stay away spot for me.
Yeah. The I'm looking at the rest of the depth chart, and nothing really seems too appealing. I don't like either one of the quarterbacks. You sort of know what you're getting with Barkley, but this could be a bad game for him. Um,
What about the wide receivers? You don't like any of those for uh, New York? I'm just trying to find some spots where we can get like these guys that are going to be on the field the whole game
I mean, Corey
that we kind of
Latimer
missed on last week.
at
Yeah.
3,700 seems like a good deal when he's the number two, possibly number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they got the Denver special out here. They got Corey Latimer and Fowler. Okay,
Benny Fowler, he's from Denver, isn't he?
yeah, him and Latimer. So, who knows? Fowler's didn't have really blowout games or great games, but I mean at 3,000, if he's the number two wide receiver on the field, that could be randomly a punt play.
Get you 15 points, pay
Yeah,
out the salary 5x.
yeah, I could definitely see that. Getting that punt play there, it could be a thing. Just especially because I feel like they're going to be man. This just must be a super defensive game because with the spread only being 1.5 and the over under being so low. I mean,
Yeah, it's not very exciting.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not a defensive game, it's just a poor offensive game.
Well, I don't think that Buffalo has a poor offense. Well, I mean, I guess they do because they're only 1.5 point favorite. So, what about the Bills defense at 3,400? You're getting it seems like you're getting a better defense than the Patriots with a chance of more turnovers. Eli's going to try to air the ball out a little bit more because they're down. Um, I don't.
Looking for these close games to attack defenses.
You
I
want the blowouts.
totals or blowouts.
I mean, how do you not see Buffalo just dominating the Giants? Because what do the Giants do to keep 1.5 point spread? What are the Giants doing to keep it within there? Do they have a randomly good defense? They're
This defense in this game.
yeah. So I mean, I don't understand the 1.5 point spread. That's just I would take Buffalo minus 1.5. I'll probably take Buffalo -3. Those seem like safe lines right there. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Especially the way John Brown went off. This definitely seems like a perfect John Brown game after talking about all the other positions. Evan Ingram, maybe. John Brown, definitely. That seems about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Move on to the next.
Yep. All right, so we got Seattle at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a 4 point favorite with over under at 46.5. I personally think that this spread is only for home field, that if it was a neutral site, this would be a pick'em game because Seattle's defense doesn't seem to be there, even though they only gave up 20 points last week. But their offensive line as well is in there, and Pittsburgh just got demolished on Monday night or Sunday night against the Patriots. Are we just going to attack with a bunch of Juju and Connor? Or, what are you guys looking at, Justin?
I like all the obvious plays here. I think Connor would fall a little further down the price point. Seattle's defense is all that great. Over under, we can attack. I think this is too low. I like Carson. I like Juju. I like Connor. With both the quarterbacks too.
What about Ram DK Metcalf? I know you're big on him, Dustin. A lot of preseason. He walked away with only 12 points last week, but I mean, for a rookie, he shows some kind of promise, and this might be a good spot for him to have a pretty good blow up game. He's a big body red zone receiver.
Yeah, I'm not really on Metcalf this week. I kind of liked him, and he had 6 total targets, 4 for 89. It's not bad. Like Justin said, it's more the obvious guys for me. Juju, if he can play, he was limited in practice because they left their starters in the game until they were finished getting blown out for some reason. Tyler Lockett is the number 1 ranked DVOA. You like that, right, Justin?
Yeah.
For wide receiver, and I think he's going to get over like big time. He's projected to be at 8% up in a really good spot. The only fear is that Seattle runs the ball so much.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's actually a really good statement on Lockett. I feel like I didn't realize he was the number 1 DVOA wide receiver this week, but I mean, what that does is a lot of people are going to overlook him because he didn't have really a great game last week. So a lot of people might be off of him. Where this coming week, I'm sure he's got a pretty good matchup where it's going to pay dividends to have him up there on your lineup for sure. Let's see. Is there anything else here? Vance McDonald, super huge letdown. Hey, welcome back.
I like Vance here.
Okay.
Hey, I like Vance here.
Yeah. So Vance, what makes you like Vance off of 4 targets?
I just think they just had such a crap game in general that this is a good bounce back.
Okay.
Positivity, good, a lot of positivity coming his way during the preseason, and then he went out and had a stinker. And I really think he's going to just absorb all of the tight end targets that he was sharing with Jesse James last year.
I mean, that was sort of like the narrative going into this season that, like, with Antonio Brown gone, Jesse James gone, Vance McDonald was going to shine. And, I mean, yeah, like, the game against the Patriots could just been, like, a shit show where they were just, like, essentially, like, running around like a bunch of high school kids or, Pop Warner kids because they're just so far out of the game. They're just like, all right, whatever. Let's just finish the rest of the game out type deal.
Right.
It's kind of impressive, even though he is only at 3,900. He is still if we don't count Hunter Henry, the 5th expensive tight end this week. So, I mean...
Dang, 3,900 is the 5th most expensive?
Yeah. I mean,
Man,
you got
people are
Kelsey at
priced
73, Kittle
And
at
that has
68.
Henry in the mix too, and he's out.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Dang.
I didn't count Henry.
Okay.
Kelsey, Kittle, Ingram, Jared Cook, Vance McDonald. To be fair, though, I sort of like Andrews over McDonald, but you're only saving $100 right there.
Yeah. Dookie, do you have Juju's projected ownership?
15%.
I'm sorry, did you already say that?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. 15%. That seems good.
I'm cool. I'll be overweight on that for sure. I think he bounces back too.
Over 15%?
I think so. Dude, Seattle gave up so many air yards, like completed air yards, not just incomplete air yards, to just everybody, just random people. I just consider John Ross a random person, really. I think Juju can just bust out here. I think he's a top 5 wide receiver.
Oh wow,
he's not going to get ownership like that. So
yeah, look at that.
I don't mind.
395 completed yards, actual completed yards. Okay, so
yeah,
the actual air yard stat must be through the roof then. They give up that many points or that many yards.
Andy Dalton set a career high. This is like his 8th NFL season. He just set a career high against this team. Andy Dalton. The most mediocre quarterback of all time just threw for 400 and something odd yards.
Mm-hmm. So how are we liking Big Ben at 5,800?
I'm fine with him too, yeah.
Like, sure.
Just randomly like playing against a bad secondary, maybe no pressure. I'm not sure how Seattle was with pressure on Andy Dalton last week, but
not much, and that's with a terrible offensive line. They have a terrible offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, like, Big Ben can do his magic. This could be a Big Ben blowout game right here for sure. Definitely,
Hmm.
especially if Juju is looking at 15% ownership around there. I feel like a lot of that percentage is probably due to just him being Juju. It's like Hopkins is probably up there like between 10 and 15% owner at least, just because he's DeAndre Hopkins. Um,
Sure. That's about all I
real
got here.
Yeah. So we talked about Carson, maybe not Connor, because who knows? I really wish I watched that game. I might go back and watch that game because Seattle only gave up 34 rushing yards. So maybe Connor is a good fade.
Mixon went down in the second quarter.
Oh, okay,
A little bit of a little humble brag. I worked that game for PFF, so I watched every snap.
nice. Yeah, that's another thing I just realized is a thing on the NFL Network where you can rewatch the games throughout the week without all the dead air or dead game time.
Yeah,
Essentially, like it's just
they cut
play,
snap to
play,
snap.
play, play. Oh,
It's sweet.
I've been addicted to that for the last couple of days.
Oh,
All
for
right.
sure.
Um, I really don't like either defenses, even though they're both priced pretty well at 2,900 for Seattle, 2,400 for Steelers. Um, I just don't know what's going to happen in this game on defense wise. Like, yeah, I can see a bunch of turnovers from Big Ben because he can't run. He's trying to put the ball wherever he needs to. But this game with a 46.5 over under could definitely be over the top.
One kind of like real thin play that I was thinking about was Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
Um,
Get Moncrief
as
off the
like
field.
yeah, he just dropped like what 6 passes on 10 targets
Yeah,
on an island game.
he looked
Um,
3 catches for 5 targets.
oh, I thought he had more than that. Anyway, Deontay Johnson
no, oh
is
yeah. Deontay had 3 for 5. Moncrief had like 3 for 13.
yeah.
Okay.
I like the spot for him. It's 3,000. No one's going to be on him. I think this could be like a Marquise Goodwin kind of, or no, Hollywood Brown. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Kind of play here.
I like that a lot,
3,000.
dude. That's good. I mean, because you don't have to go 15% with him. Throw 3% and you're going to be
Exactly.
super overweight. And if he does hit,
Yeah, I
that's
want
great.
us
And
to
if he
start
goofs,
hitting
it
on
doesn't
some of
matter.
these guys that are really talented
Yeah,
and they've got a nice opportunity.
for sure.
Yeah, like it seems
There's
like a
one.
lot of
There's one
talented
next game too.
wide receiver twos and threes are going to be like 3,000 ish, almost 4,000 that could blow up. And like John Brown last week, even though he was at like 4,300, 4,400, he's still like we sort of expected that from him. So I do agree with that. I definitely want to start hitting a lot of these cheap wide receivers, especially in GPP
Yeah,
plays. Like it definitely seems like the big thing. All right,
for sure.
definitely don't see anything else appealing about that game, so we'll just move on to the
Nope.
Colts at Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans are a 3-point favorite with the over under at 44.5. I see the over under being 44.5 because you sort of don't know what you're getting from. I mean, I guess you do know what you're getting from Indianapolis, but Derrick Henry, holy moly, that
For sure. That's
guy,
a
he's just something else. Like a man that big shouldn't be that fast. Like it's just amazing how fast that guy is, or maybe he's just bucking people over where it just makes it seem like he's that fast. He's only had one catch and it was for a 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that. I want to check that
Yeah,
out.
that's amazing. This guy, yeah, Derrick Henry, when he has a blow up game, he has a blow up game. Um, so it's definitely both. I do like both running backs here. They're both priced 6,000 for Derrick Henry, 5,900 for Marlon Mack. I definitely like attacking these two in this game over everything else.
yeah. I think that's for sure. I don't want any of the. I don't want Mariota. I don't want his receivers. I love Delaney, but I don't know if I love him on this slate. That's a perfectly fine grab. All right, so here's our deep dive. No one's going to be on play.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
So Funchess is gone, sadly. One of like 3 broken collarbones on Sunday. What a brutal injury to happen so many times. But anyways, we got to go on with our lives. Devin Funchess is out, which presented a fight for the number 2 receiver role. This dude played only 11 snaps. He got 2 targets. He turned him into 35 yards, and Deion Kane is $3,000.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yep, take that. So Deion Kane, who will be not owned, who has first dabs at the number 2 wide receiver role under Jacoby Brisket. So that's my dude, because I don't want to touch Tennessee. I think Mariota had a fluky game, and I think Jacoby Brissett is better than Marcus Mariota. So I'd rather have his number 2 wide receiver.
How dare you?
You don't think Paris Campbell will be the number 2?
I don't think Paris Campbell will be number 2. I think he's going to keep chugging along as the what am I trying to say here? Like the Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
Gadget guy.
X factor receiver,
gadget guy,
X receiver type deal.
I think he'll have 3. Paris Campbell will have like 3 awesome games this year, but we don't know what those are.
Yeah, that's true. I take it Chester Rogers is the slot guy then? Or
Yeah.
Pascal. Like you're literally just I guess this doesn't show me depth charts. Let me look at the depth chart real quick.
I think we really want to take a flyer on Kane.
Deion Kane listed number 2 on depth charts.
You know.
Our boy Justin doing his homework.
Hey, look. Every snap, every game, every player. I don't want anyone else there.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying, Dustin, about this game?
Oh, I was just saying, really, for me, I like Henry, Hilton, and Delaney, and everybody else I'm just uninterested in.
Yep.
Really?
Right on board with
you
that.
Don't like
Except
either of the running backs?
I'm going to pour some Kane in.
I like Henry. I like Henry a lot.
Oh, you said Henry, but okay.
But yeah, outside of that, I'm not really messing around with this game.
Okay.
I also like Hilton, who regularly tears up the Titans every year.
Yeah, T.Y. Hilton is so Josh Ermsmeyer, the air yards king, has a whopper. I don't know if you guys know about that.
No.
Is weight. What is it? Weight. It's not adjusted. Well, weighted opportunity. That's what it is. And really what it is just like air yards and target share added together. T.Y. Hilton was 7th in the NFL in week 1. So as much as as much as people thought that he was dead in the water with Luck being gone, he was still the 7th most used wide receiver in the NFL in week 1. So I think T.Y. Hilton definitely take him. He's still the number 1 there.
Yeah, I faded him like a dumb, and I won't do it this week.
I'm pretty sure I did too. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely. I think fading him wasn't terrible, but it is what it is. Just looking at let's see. I mean, he's at 6,800. He's like the 12th price wide receiver. Antonio Brown's above him. Thielen, AJ Green. Why do they keep listing AJ Green up there? Whoa.
I love it.
I see a couple of surprising names up there. That's kind of interesting. Oh, I guess it's not surprising. Okay. Amari Cooper's priced above T.Y. Hilton at 7,400.
Yeah, let's talk to that game. Let's start talking about that game.
Oh, yeah, we're about to. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like T.Y. Hilton at a 6,800 price tag. That's definitely super appealing right there. Because it's almost like DeAndre Hopkins effect where you're just paying for pure skill. And at that price, it almost seems disrespectful. So, now we got the Dallas Cowboys at Washington Redskins. Dallas is a 5.5 point favorite with an over/under of 46.5. My biggest takeaway from last week to going into this week is Washington. Well, not Washington. Vernon Davis was the thing. I've completely just forgot about him. Forgot he existed. I was very upset when he went off. I guess he didn't really go off, but I mean, like he was like the play on the Redskins last week compared to everyone else. Dustin, where you liking this game? Like, where do you want to target?
I think I like Amari Cooper. Someone on that Cowboys team is going to have a big game in the receiving department. I've got a couple of little notes here I wanted to talk about. So the last time Cooper played the Redskins as a Cowboy, he went 8 for 180 and 2. Oof. And the Redskins just gave up a 2-touchdown game to former Redskin Deshaun Jackson in Week 1. So I really like Amari Cooper. I'm also liking Chris Thompson because Darius Geis has been downgraded to out. Right? Is he out?
Yeah,
he's doubtful right now, but
okay, he's not playing.
He's not officially
he's out.
Very doubtful.
It's a meniscus injury, and it's not even the same knee that kept him out last year. So he's got 2 bum knees right now.
Yeah,
he's not playing.
Chris Thompson had 3 carries and 7 catches on 10 targets last week. And I found a cool stat. So look, in 2018, Dallas was bottom 5 in receiving yards surrendered to RB.
Nice.
So if they're playing from behind, he's going to be in there, and he played in 64% of the team's snaps in Week 1.
And they're absolutely going to be playing from behind. That's a solid catch.
Real quick, what was the situation with Peterson last week? Like, he just chose not to show up and play?
No, he was a healthy scratch. He was on the sidelines in street clothes.
Oh, wow.
Jake Gruden even made this, man, I'm going to forget the exact quote, but he was like, Darius Geis is our first and second down back, and Adrian Peterson doesn't catch passes. So the next time we're running 55 running plays out of I form, then Adrian Peterson will be a healthy active.
Oh, wow.
That was, like, Jay Gruden said that. Like, that wasn't even some pundit.
So here's something interesting.
They have to play him.
Philly special, Wendell Smallwood is on the depth charts now for Washington. Is that a random play? That could be a thing.
Nah,
No?
I don't think so. No, I wouldn't go too deep. I'd just take the pass catcher, playing catcher.
Yeah. Chris Thompson's a solid play.
Yeah, right now the depth chart has Geis, Peterson, Thompson, Smallwood. So Peterson's probably going to start as the first, second down back, and then Chris Thompson. Smallwood's interesting, but I guess with that backfield, you already know what you're going to get. All right, so we talked about Amari Cooper. Gallup had pretty much the same exact game as Cooper did.
Yeah, Michael Gallup for sure.
How are we liking this Cowboys offense? Even like, we got your boy Jarwin. Let's see his price. $2,900. That's so disrespectful. So disrespectful. Only gave him a $200 increase. Oh.
Witten didn't miss any practice time, so we got in early on the Jarwin love. I don't know if we need to go back to that well.
No, I'm not playing him this week.
I like Gallup a lot. No tight ends.
Randall Cobb caught a touchdown. He definitely
I'm not
did
touching
his
Randall
thing.
Cobb today.
So, I mean, Dak definitely seems like in play. Like, that offense is just ticking. Ezekiel Elliott, we don't know if he was officially on the snap count. Is that because, like, I remember before the game, like, the coach or someone said that he's not officially on a snap count.
He was definitely on a snap count.
But, I mean, like, he only had 18 rushes, and look what he did with that 18 rushes. Like, or no, 13. Yeah. Okay, that's what it was. He had 18 snaps, 13 rushes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of worry that he doesn't play a full allotment of snaps this week.
I thought last week Redskins game was going to be a blowout, and it ended up being there. But I think this could be gross from the start.
Yeah, it could definitely be an Elliott game, a Pollard game. How do you guys feel about Pollard as another random flyer?
No, not
Yeah.
yet. Not he got 0 targets. I thought he'd be the third down back, and they did not give a crap to throw him any balls. So not until he proves that he can catch some balls.
What
Or
they
they
do with the other snaps? Like, do they just like? Oh, I guess they had Pollard there, and they were just like, all right, we're just going to throw the ball.
well,
Pollard's there
Dak,
just
Pres-
to.
Dak Prescott threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he had a perfect passer rating. So they didn't really. They just let him throw the ball really to Blake
Jeez.
Jarwin.
That's crazy. So, I mean, are all three wide receivers in play here for Dallas? Like, you got Randall Cobb at 4,500.
I don't want Cobb.
You're not liking Cobb? Okay.
I'll play a little bit of Cobb just because you can do whatever you want. Whatever they want to do, they'll do. I like Cooper and Gallup, and then Cobb in that order.
Yeah.
Even
I think I
with,
like Gallup a
Witten-
little more than-
Witten mix, catching touchdown. All right, so what about Vernon Davis?
I'm fading him.
Are we just going to go back to that party with Vernon Davis? Questionable for Reed, limited in practice on Wednesday.
Oh, he's not playing.
Okay. Okay.
I did like. I mean, I know this is like really picking a grip here, but Vernon was 2,700 last week, and that's why I was like, oh hell yeah. I know 3,200 isn't a ton more, but
I mean,
you price yourself out.
yeah, but in the tight end world, 3,200 is a lot because
Yeah, right.
I mean he's still like the 15th most expensive quarter or tight end, but I mean like if we take Hunter Henry out, you get to 3,900 with Vance McDonald as number 5. So 3,200 and 2,700 looks a lot more appealing, like a Jarwin or Vernon Davis calls. Man, God, that Jarwin call, I'm still ecstatic about that.
I know. I was hoping he would. I thought he was going to keep scoring, man. I just had such a good feeling about him.
So, are we going to roster the Cowboys defense?
Yep. Absolutely. Chalk.
Super chalk. Okay. So chalk again. Cowboys are back-to-back chalk weeks. All right. There's really nothing else I like about that game. I don't think there's anything else to talk about, really. So we'll just move on to the 4 p.m. games. We got KC at Oakland. KC is a 7.5-point favorite with an over-under of 53.5. This is the highest over-under, definitely by a mile. I mean, not a mile, but 53.5 is definitely a lot of points.
Yes.
Do they really think Oakland's going to put up that many points? Or
If they come close to scoring as many points as they're projected to, the literal chalkiest play on this entire slate is Tyrell Williams at 4,400. That's the most ridiculous price. I had no idea until we just clicked to this game. That's a stupid price. That's ridiculous.
a number one wide receiver that they 100% trust in and they will throw the deep ball to.
It has to be because it was a Monday night game, but they knew that
Yeah.
Antonio Brown
These prices were out Sunday night, Monday. Yeah, because even the
Antonio
lines were out.
Brown
and
left on
everything.
Saturday. That's a crazy price. I'm gonna have this dude in like 40% of my lineups. That's stupid.
Dustin, what's the ownership looking like on Mr. Williams here?
27%.
Yeah, that's the chalkiest. That has to be the chalkiest play of the slate. How do you get away from playing that? The Whopper metric that I referenced earlier of Josh Hermsmeyer's, Tyrell Williams was 4th in weighted opportunity in the NFL, in the entire NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's one thing too, like he only missed one target, and that target I remember watching that game. They double covered him, or the safety at least helped out the guy covering him. And it was the exact same play that he broke out for that touchdown catch. So, I mean, they definitely have a lot of faith in him. I sort of wish he was on the Chargers right now, to be honest with you. But, I mean, he's on Oakland. He's definitely the clear number one there, and he's taking full advantage of it. What do you think his price is going to be next week if he has, like, a good game, like 6,200?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't
Like
think you're.
it feels like it should be 6,200. So yeah, I mean, are you going to be?
Over 5,000 for sure.
Yeah, oh no, I would be surprised if it's under 6,000.
Okay, as we're talking, I'm stacking this game, and this is stupid. It's so easy. Okay, I'm just gonna name off what I've clicked. I left the defense open, a flex open, and one wide receiver. I I put Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, Damian Williams, Sammy Watkins, Tyrell, and Travis Kelsey. And with those three open spots, I still have 13,000.
Damn.
This is the easiest game to stack. This is like some week 2 preseason nonsense.
Yeah, where everyone's the same price.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. Let's talk about them.
And then I'll put Cowboys in at defense, and I still have 9,800 for the
For the
a wide
two
receiver
slots.
flex.
Yeah. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, Mr. Watkins. With Tyreek Hill out,
They priced him up a ton.
7,200.
Oh, wow.
But like you said, you're stacking this game. Like right now, you have Kelsey at 73, Watkins at 72, Mahomes at 7,500, and then Josh Jacobs at 47, Williams, running back for the Chiefs, 5,800, Tyrell Williams, 4,400. That's just amazing that Josh Jacobs is even that low. This price, there's no way these prices had to be out before the Monday night game. There's no way Josh Jacobs would have that kind of game and still be at under 5,800. To be honest
This
with
game. Oh, okay. All right. Are you serious? Okay. So I took that. Sorry, I'm not trying to bogart the conversation here, but I put that stack in, and then I put Robert Woods for the Rams, who we haven't talked about yet, the Cowboys defense, and Preston Williams in my flex. And that's it. I'm taking that lineup. I'm screenshotting this lineup, and I'm winning a GPP with this.
God, that Jesus, just going more and more over it. That seems like the craziest and best stack that I've seen so far on any game. Definitely makes sense. If Oakland scores like that, they can definitely cover that 7.5 point spread. It can definitely be a shootout and having almost any piece. What about Whaler? There's been a lot of talk about him. I mean, 8 targets, 7 catches. He definitely was there. He definitely showed up. 33, man, they priced him at 3,300. That seems
That's ridiculous.
If these, that's one thing I don't understand. You have Tyrell Williams at 4,400, but then you have Waller at 3,300. It's just that seems too high. How do they make these prices before the Monday night games? That just seems too much for me to be Waller, even though he might see a lot of targets. He's obviously not the end zone guy. Obviously, we don't want to touch on either defense because the offenses seem like they're flying. Any stretch plays?
This is where I want to take defenses.
Oh, in this game, why? Because you think there's just going to be a lot of turnovers.
Wait, are you guys switching off this Kansas City game before we talk about the Kansas City offense?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I sort of was, but I mean, it almost feels like Houston here. You have Mahomes, Watkins, Kelsey. Is there something that we're missing? Williams at running back?
No, but I got some little nuggets I wanted to share.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, what you got for us?
So check it out. Mahomes, top-weighted pass DVOA, production premium, defense yards above replacement. He's all number one in all those metrics. So smash spot. He's second in QBR. Watkins is top 5 in DVOA this week. With LaShawn McCoy coming back, I think Damian Williams is nice. He had half of the market share of rushes, and he was second only to Travis Kelce in market share of target. In 2018, Oakland was bottom 3 in rushing attempt and rushing yards allowed. So they allow a lot of rushing attempts and yards. So that's why I think Williams is interesting.
Yeah.
Watkins and Williams are both.
Now, real quick on the Oakland's defense of allowing a lot of rushing, that team is 100% different than what it was, or the team this year is 100% different than last year, to be honest with you. It's just, there we go, I'm back. But I kept talking. What I was saying is, I think Oakland's defense is a lot different than it was from last year. Phillip Lindsay, Freeman, they couldn't get anything going. It was definitely frustrating to watch as a Denver fan, but realizing that the Raiders have evolved, even without Antonio Brown, that much on both sides of the ball was really impressive to see. I don't think that stat from last year is going to be anything to lean on this year. I mean, Williams is still going to be a good piece to have, especially at 5,800. But I think you could definitely play the other pieces of the Chiefs' offense over him.
Over who? Williams?
Over Damian Williams?
Yeah, over Williams. You're going to I think you're going to have more shares of Watkins, Kelce, and Mahomes in your lineups.
Sure. But
even with Mahomes being
2% owned, didn't you see him rip off like an 80-yard touchdown in the preseason? That's all it takes. You've already shot across the field with that.
Yeah, but what you're saying, he's only taken half the snaps or rushing snaps. The thing that sort of outweighs my devil's advocate approach right now is the fact that I see his price tag at 5,800. I'm just that's a really good price tag for anyone on this team. That's proven to be successful with this team. 5,800 seems to be almost an insult, an auto include in a lot of lineups. But just to go back to what you're saying about the Raiders defense, that might be a legit defense. Now, granted, I'm not saying Kansas City is going to be held to 27 points because they're Kansas City and they can attack you so many different ways. But, don't be surprising if Mahomes actually takes 40 attempts this game. I mean, he took 33 last week. So,
by hook or by crook, they're going to smash the Raiders. So,
indeed, get them pieces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely seems like a really good game to stack. So now we're going to move on to Chicago at Denver. This is the lowest over-under at 40, with Chicago being a 3-point favorite. I don't know where to attack at this game. I feel like because I'm a Denver fan, I want to attack Sanders, but I don't know. I'll let you guys take it. Go for it, Justin.
Allen Robinson, and that's it.
Okay.
And barely Allen Robinson, and that's it.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with this.
I'll take Sanders at 4,700.
Yeah.
That's a fine price.
Splash in some Sanders, some sprinkles of 3 to 5% doesn't seem terrible. Because, I mean, he's shown that he's the number one, even though Sutton outscored him. All the deep balls are going to Sanders. He's getting those looks. I don't actually have the actual stats on him, but I mean, 7 targets. What does Sutton had? He had 8 targets. God, Deshaun Hamilton, he was so set up for success that Monday night game. He dropped that ball in the end zone. Oh, hit him in the chest too. That was so heartbreaking. It would have been a totally different game because Denver would have only been down by 3. All right, whatever. All right. I don't want to get into the woes. Yeah, I agree with you. That's about the only thing that I like about this game is Allen Robinson. 6,100 does seem kind of high, but Denver doesn't have good coverage right now, and big wide receivers seem to be destroying us, like our big weakness. We're also still weak to the tight end from last year, but I don't think anyone's going to play Shaheen at 3,100 when you can get like better value tight ends.
Yeah, I was looking at Shaheen, thinking that it would be, he'd be minimum, but he's not, which is ridiculous. I don't know why he's not. I don't know why he's not min priced.
It might be because he's playing against Denver. We really haven't been really good with how good our pass rush is. Like we just been getting killed last 3-4 years by tight ends just nonstop. Even probably before that, like just tight ends are just always been eating us up in the middle of the field. So who knows? Maybe Shaheen might be a good punt play right there. Trey Burton plays limited practice. Trey Burton might be playable here. Who knows? Maybe Trey Burton's the missing piece that makes the Chicago Bears offense actually put up like 17 points a game. But yeah, I'm sort of in the same ballpark where like Robinson and that's about it. All right, so we got the last game of the week.
Oh, what do you think about Fant as like a GPP flag at tight end? He played 81% of the snaps in week 1.
I think I'm out there.
Yeah, he likes a run block. He's a pass catching tight end that likes to block. So that right there, that's probably why he saw 81% of the snaps, because he's a good blocker as well. The way that we're set up, maybe he gets a little more looks his way because Deshaun Hamilton shows that he's not there yet with dropping the passes and everything like that. But I think with our scheme right now, we're just sort of like wide receivers or bust for the throwing game. Like it doesn't even seem like we're like worried about tight ends or pass catching running backs. Like Lindsey's just a dump off option. Like no real plays. It seems like.
Yeah, he had 5 targets, so it's nothing that I want to completely avoid, but just something throwing out there. But we can move on.
No, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a thing because the quote unquote narrative of Flacco liking tight ends. But watching that game, like, you would have thought he'd target Font a little bit more, and they just made a little thing about him being a pass catching tight end that loves a block. So
Fant stayed into run block on 18 snaps, and then he ran. It looks like he ran 29 routes.
Okay.
So about 2/3 of the time he was staying in just a run block. Or that's not
1/3
how
of the
much.
time. I mean, that might be a play, but at 3,000, paying a tight end, I don't know. That seems questionable. It's almost like the Shaheen factor where it's just like, I don't know. It seems like better punts there, or you want a more solid position at tight end around 3,000. If either one of those guys were at like 2,700, 2,800, then it would be more plausible. At least in my world. I could be wrong now. Yeah, nothing else exciting about that game. Very depressing. I appreciate you guys depressing me before we end this podcast. So, we'll go ahead and talk about the last game of the slate. New Orleans at Los Angeles Rams. Rams are a 2.5-point favorite with the over-under at 52. They're playing outside, so I don't know if there's a narrative for Drew Brees playing in dome versus not playing in domes. But what are we looking at here, Dustin? What do we want out of this game? Do we want all pieces, just sort of like the KC Oakland game?
Yeah, I want all of New Orleans here. So I want Kamara, Thomas, and Breeze, and then also some Ted Ginn. Kamara played 76% of the RB snaps in week 1 and accounted for 20% of the market share of targets. It's kind of par for the course. In 2018, the Rams allowed the most yards per attempt out of any team in the league. You saw that last week when McCaffrey went off. Listen to this. Michael Thomas has a 95% catchable target rate. That's pretty insane
That's ridiculous.
for the amount of targets that guy gets. I love that.
It's that anticipation, man. The dude, like Breeze, has lost a little bit of oomph in the last couple of years, but he makes the most gorgeous friggin' anticipation throws in the league. And Michael Thomas runs his friggin' routes the way they're supposed to be ran. And the ball is always just over his shoulder. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So what about Ted Ginn that randomly had a good game, or even Traquan Smith that brought in a touchdown? He only had 2 targets, but I mean, like, are these like? I guess at 3,700 for Traquan Smith, that's not really a good punt. That's a super touchdown dependent. But I mean, it could be a thing where like he gets 2 touchdowns for 40 yards or something like that off of like 5 catches.
I'd rather pay that little bit extra and just sit on Ginn. I don't know if I'll play any Traquan. I think Ginn's, like Dookie was saying, I think that's a solid play.
So check out this though. Ginn has a questionable tag, and he didn't practice today.
He's like sick or something. I'm not worried about that.
Okay. Is that the thing?
Yeah, illness.
He's got the poops or something.
Okay.
That's all good. I'm kind of just simply because Breeze just had that incredible game on Monday night. I don't mind. I don't know if fade's the right word, but be very underweight on Breeze, just because I think we can replace those quarterback points somewhere else without being with the field, if that makes sense. I'd rather take a lesser owned guy with the same sort of ceiling.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. The thing is, though, he only put up 24 points. I mean, now I say only put up 24 points, but I mean, like, we're looking at Mahomes, we're looking at Carson Wentz, like people that actually put up like 30 plus points. So it's kind of interesting that he only put up 24, but I mean, like, I guess that game was so memorable.
Yeah, it's that primetime factor.
Yeah, that just
But
like
I'm-
it puts up.
Did I
Check
really
this out though.
discount?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's the 8th most expensive quarterback up here.
Oh yeah, that's going to put even more ownership on him.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's tied with Russell Wilson, so we'll say tied for 7th. But you
They've
got
only
Dak
got him
Prescott.
projected at 7%.
You said 7%?
Yeah.
Wow.
That
All right.
seems about right. Because, like,
Really?
Damn.
Seems low.
That seems
Well-
super low.
okay, so we're going to do a quick rundown of the quarterbacks. Pat Mahomes at 7,500, most expensive quarterback by $800. You want him in the lineups. You know he's going to go off for 30 plus points, right? It seems like a bad day if he gets like 25, 24 points. Lamar Jackson at 6,700, that could be a good fade because of his price point. Deshaun Watson 66, Aaron Rodgers at 65, might be a fade against Minnesota's defense. Tom Brady against Miami, that has the potential to just light it up, and Tom Brady breaks the most touchdowns in a single game record right there at 6,400 at the 5th most expensive quarterback. Then you have Dak Prescott that balled out last week. It's going against another bad defense of Washington Redskins at 6,300. I don't think Russell Wilson I would play over Drew Brees. And then you have Drew Brees, and then below him, I guess we'll just talk about the other side of the ball while we're at it. What about Jared Goff? Do we like him at all?
I would prefer to have Goff. I'll have more Goff than Breeze in this matchup. Just because I think there's a
Who are
better.
you pairing him with?
I'll take Woods, Cooks, Cup in that order. So that was my original plan. I think I'm going to boost Cooks up simply because Cooks last week he went 2 for 39. So I think that's going to kind of take a dump on his ownership. He got 80 air yards, which is slightly below Woods. Going either one of them, really. I don't think I'm going to take Cup, though. I think I'm going to wait.
Like you might sprinkle in some Cup and just be like, okay, 6,000. Man, 6,000 seems like it kind of high for him. Because like if you look at Woods and Cooks, 6,400 for Woods, 6,300 for Cooks, they feel like the same type of wide receiver, like production wise and everything like that. Like one can go off easily, both of them can go off easily, or like you just got to make sure you catch that fire. It seems like. What about just pairing both of them, or is that just too much?
No, I think that's fine. My biggest worry in this game is I think New Orleans can move it between the 20s on the ground without any problem. I think the Rams are going to move it with both, really. I think they're going to dink and dunk with Cup, and I think they're going to take their shots with Cooks. So I think in an MME scenario that we're talking about, I think Cooks is probably the best pairing. And if you want to stack this game, do a Goff Cooks or a Goff Cooks Woods, and then come back with Kamara Thomas or Latavius Thomas. I know it's hard to fade Alvin Kamara, but I think any one of these days, a 2-touchdown game out of Latavius is not out of the question. They're going to pound him in the goal line, especially as the year carries on. I know we're in week 2, but they're not going to keep pushing Kamara up within the 5-yard line if they can help it. That's why they got Latavius, to be a big doofy goal line giant dude who just runs into people and concusses himself.
Yeah, and Latavius Murray is priced at 3,700. So
yeah,
if you need a flyer in the flex position, that definitely seems like a good touchdown dependent one that feels like he has a safer floor than a lot of other ones around 3,700.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What about Todd Gurley at 7,000? Are we liking him at all? Like against Carolina, put up 97 yards and touchdown. No touchdowns. I'm sorry.
No touchdowns because he got 0 touches inside the red zone. So within the 20-yard line, he got 0 touches, and Malcolm Brown had 4 carries inside the 10. So they are clearly worried about Todd Gurley's sustainability through a season. Yeah, and they're using Malcolm Brown as the punisher.
So
his ceiling is super capped.
Yeah.
To be that expensive, $7,000, his ceiling is capped. If you can't rush for touchdowns within the 20-yard line, then that's too much. It's too much.
Yeah. It's definitely like the correct way to football, but for fantasy wise, we sort of don't like it for the talent. What about just playing Brown? Just throwing in some Michael Brown at 4,100. Just like, all right, see if we can get that red zone touchdown. I mean, they seem to be going with him.
See it. Like I want it to be like, I can see it. If I'm max 115, I want him to be in like 4 lineups.
Yeah.
Just the random touchdown.
Todd Gurley guy in a handful of lineups too, though.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, if he can score from 40 yards out, he has that possibility too.
Yeah.
What's his ownership projected at?
It was like 3%. Really? Yeah, 3%.
Oh, geez. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, they got a 28 team total.
Yeah. You just play starting running backs when there's totals like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else about this game that we like? Like, you sort of seem like you said high flying games, you want to start the defense. So I mean,
I'll definitely have some pieces of both for sure. These are I know it sounds counterintuitive and I know it sounds stupid, and I guess it's a cop out. I don't know. So the last game we talked about last week was when I was kind of talking about how I like these high flying games. Cop out, maybe I got lucky, but San Francisco was the highest scoring defense on the slate, and that's one of the 2 teams I was talking about. You know what I mean? And maybe that's just a 1-for-1 whatever. But these are the kind of games that I would rather. I don't want to score like 6 points because a defense held another team to 13 or whatever. Like I want interception possibilities, and I want quarterbacks scrambling around and fumbling the ball, and I want mayhem. Like that's what I'm looking for. Like I don't really want to play a defense from the Bears in the Broncos game. It's just going to be slow.
Right.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play the Giants or the Bills on that slow game where nothing may happen. I'd rather take a defense from one of these games or the what are some other ones? Sorry, the KC Oakland. Just take one of those teams and see what happens. But yeah, so I do want to play both of these defenses, and I'm not talking about 20 or 30% ownership. Like,
No. Yeah.
take both of them and put them in 8 to 10% of lineups, and they're not going to kill you. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to get you like 1 point, which is whatever.
Yeah, because like sort of a prime example of that. Like I played Charles Clay over Garwin, and everything else in those two lineups were the same. I cashed with all my Charles Clay lineups because I was able to do that by punting away at 2,700 positions. So I mean, in this case, you have 23, I think it was. Let me bring it back up real quick. 27 and 2,600. Like if they get you a couple points, that's worst case scenario. But you're saving so much money for the rest of your lineup to be like super top heavy. So
right.
Okay. Yeah. That definitely makes a lot more sense. I never actually thought about it that way. But yeah, the way you broke it down, it definitely makes a lot of sense to have like a good, not a good amount of percentage, but a decent amount of percentage in your lineups.
Don't fade defenses just because they're in a high over under. I think that's a negative EV thought process.
Yeah, it definitely can be because like you said, slower games, lower total games, they're just going to be slow and not a lot of opportunities.
Like there's literally just less plays.
Mm-hmm.
If you can just look at a sheet and take a game with 130 offensive plays, or take the game with 190 offensive plays, take the 190 because even if there's only a 1% chance they throw an interception, it's higher with 100. I mean, it's just take the math, take the numbers.
Yeah, that's definitely like I said, that's pretty eye opening for me. Anything else about this game before we wrap it up?
No,
I think we're good, buddy.
All right, that's great. So there you have it. 13 games going on the main slate. Good luck out there with your punt plays because those are the positions that are going to make you a lot of money. Like the Jarwin play, even though he only got 12 points or 12.6 or something like that, we only paid 2,700 for that, and we it was my Carson Wentz, Deshaun Jackson lineups that I just kept eating. Like I was printing money. It felt like. All right, so I'm Charles. That was Dustin and Justin. They can be found at Doki Hogue and Justin _Redwords on Twitter. Myself is fear_these_. This is the last call, brought to you by fakepigskin.com. Thank you very much, guys.